Welcome to Roots and Reflections. Today on this show we have three very special guests who came here just to tell us about their stories with racism around the world. Our very first guest is a very special boy from France. He came here to share his experience being bullied in school, in the streets, just being bullied in general in France. So please welcome our very first guest, Caesar Boudumbo. Good morning, Caesar.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm fine. And you?
I'm very good. So, do you have anything you want to say to our audience or to us?
I have nothing special to say apart from the fact that I'm really glad to be here.
Good. So, my very first question for you is, what was your experience in France? What was your experience in France like when you go to school? What would people say to you just because of how you look and the color of your skin?
So when I first arrived in France, I wanted to go to the mall and get some things, as many tourists do. So when I went to the mall, many people started looking at me weirdly because of my skin color, my hair, and everything that makes me black. So after I was done in the mall, I went to the car and I saw a bus full of students, white students of course. So I wanted to greet them and waved at them, but instead of greeting me like a black folk would do, like, hi, they will just like greet me with middle fingers, insult me of monkey and everything. So I was really harmed about it. Really harmed. It was really awful.
I'm very sad this happened to you, Caesar. I think a lot of people don't realize how much racism can affect people and they think that it's just a joke. So I'm very glad you could share that with us. Does anyone in the audience have anything to say?
Hello, Caesar. So, what advice would you give to young people who are struggling with racism in France like you had?
For those who are struggling with racism in France, I recommend help, support from maybe parents, friends, of course black friends. So we will, in many ways, they will help you to overcome these challenges. So pretty much it.
Does anyone else have a question?
How have your experiences shaped the way you see life now?
Now I see life as my main point is Africa, and the rest of the world is just secondary. Because Africa is where I feel safe, comfortable. While outside, I'll always be criticized and for what I am. So I just feel comfortable in foreign countries.
Thank you so much, Caesar. I know that it's very hard to share these stories, especially when it's personal stories, and I'm sure you inspired a lot of people in the audience and a lot of black people dealing with racism in Europe. So now we're going to have a break from our sponsors. Yeah, thank you.
Do you ever feel like your home is not cultural enough? Add some unique style to your space with these decorations. Made with great craftsmanship, they are called zebilambas. Thank you.
And we're back. Our very next guest is a very special woman that came all the way from China to tell us about her experience while dealing with racism during her school. She went to study home education. So yeah. Hi, Dr. Nael.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good.
Would you like to say anything to our audience?
Nothing much, but I'm very grateful to be here.
Okay, so my first question to you is, what was it like in China? Because I know that it's not very welcoming there, so what was your experience in China?
Okay, so I could be in public transportation. People would touch my hair, ask me what is this, what did you do to your hair, and just saying nasty comments about my hair. And I could walk down streets and people would call out names like monkey, chalkboard, and more.
Okay. I'm very sorry this happened to you. I know that it's very hard, especially for black people to deal with their hair. Because, in many countries, even here in Africa, it's very hard to find products that will help your hair be healthy. So does anyone in the audience have any questions?
When did you go to China? I went China in 2007.
Does anyone else have a question?
What can be done to not experience what you have experienced in China for other people?
So I think Chinese schools can educate students to respect other races because they're not going to see the same race every day throughout the world.
Thank you so much, Yuka, for telling us about the stories and how we can fix the issue in China. I'm sure that with your work and dedication soon, people around the world will see that everyone is different, not just their complexions. Thank you. Our very next guest is a man who came here all the way from the UK to talk to us about Pan-Africanism. Please welcome Marcus Garvin.
Hello, Andrew. How are you today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very, very good.
So my first question to you is, what ideas, since you're a social activist, what idea are you passionate about? What ideas do you really care for?
So a really, really good idea that I think is what everyone should do is Pan-Africanism. And Pan-Africanism is the belief in African descent that they all share the same common experiences. And I think that based off that, we should all come together and we should all fight for the same social justice and fight for what we believe in.
Thank you so much. I think Pan-Africanism is something we should really care about. Does anyone in the audience have a question?
What made you start the Universal Negro Improvement Association?
So I started the Universal Negro Association, the UNIA, because Black people were struggling with racism and they had unfair treatment, which was a very big deal in the United States. And I wanted everyone to be united and just have peace all around the world.
Does anyone else have a question?
How does it feel to experience racism?
So obviously racism is a very, very harsh experience and I don't want anyone else to experience this just racism. And I think that we should unite, like I said before, we should try and stop racism because it's a very, very bad thing and it can affect people's mentality in a very, very awful way, which is what happened to me, obviously. So yeah.
I'm very sorry this happened to you. And I think that we should really try as Black people, and even if you're not Black, you should really try and make people feel comfortable because of their skin color. You shouldn't judge people. Do you have something else you want to say?
So yes, I wanted to thank Dr. Iban over here for implying this rule in the school to respect everyone, no matter their race, and to just be kind because obviously we're a family here and we should just respect each other. Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Iban.
Thank you so much. So we've come to the end of our show. Thank you so much for listening to the show, and I hope you learned stuff from all of you that came to talk to us today. Thank you.